What's up, guys? Welcome back to the LeftLane Podcast. We're talking all things MMA, going over the recent UFC cards, news, and all the other kind of topics that we need to discuss in the world of MMA. So, let's just start off with UFC 295. It was an amazing card. Periera versus Prochazka. Incredible card. A bunch of finishes, 6 first-round finishes, I think a couple second-rounders as well. Pereira TKO'd Jiri Prochazka to become the light heavyweight champ. Tom Aspinall flattened Sergey Pavlovichs in just over a minute to get the interim belt. Jessica Andrade turns back Mackenzie Dern, exposed her kind of lack of striking. Benoit Saint Denis put on a big statement with a head kick KO over Matt Favola. Diego Lopes had another star-making performance against Pat Sabatini. Steve Erceg turned back Costa in a pretty solid fight. Godinez beat Ricci pretty soundly across 15 minutes. Mateusz Rebecki smoked Roosevelt Roberts in a round as expected. We had Nazim Sadikov and Vyacheslav Borshev had a banger of a fight. What else did we have? We had Jared Gordon getting his first TKO win in centuries against Mark Madsen, and then discussing his prior use of heroin in the surrounding areas close to MSG, which was pretty funny. We had John Castaneda win a pretty solid decision over Kyung Ho Kang. Josh Van demonstrated his skill against Kevin Borjas, and then Jamal Emmers opened up the night with a sick KO over Dennis Bazooka. So it was a pretty fucking good card. I would say one of the best this year. I think it's between this and 290. And then 291 was pretty good too. So if we look at 290, the main card, let's compare just the main cards. Actually, we'll compare the most notable fights. So 290 had Volkanovski TKO Yair Rodriguez in the third round. Had Moreno and Pantoja have one of the best fights of the year. Had Dricus du Plessis stun Robert Whittaker with an upset, incredible upset. Had Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner put on a great fight, a great scrap, which was one of the best fights of the year as well. Had Bo Nickel get a quick finish, and then it had Robbie Lawler's retirement. So they were with an incredible quick TKO. And then it had a bunch of two other really quick finishes as well. Denise Gomez got a 20-second finish, and then Jesus Aguilar got a 17-second finish. So that was pretty crazy. But this card, 295, we had all KO/TKOs on the main card. Incredible, head kick KO from Benoit, great TKO from Lopez, TKO from Pereira, big KO from Tom Aspinall. And then on the prelims, we had Rebecki get a quick sub, banger fight between Borshev and Sadikov. We had Gordon get a KO, and we had Jamal Emmers get a KO. So, a pretty great card, both of them. It's hard to kind of compare. And then if you want to look at 291, Poirier versus Gaethje with the head kick, had Pereira beat Blachowicz in a splitty. Derek Lewis got the flying knee, which was pretty fun. Kevin Holland subbed Michael Chiesa quickly, but it had Bobby Green beat Tony Ferguson, which was just kind of sad. So, and it had Gabriel Bonfim got a quick finish too, but I would lean towards saying that 290 is the best card in terms of overall. It was fun, it meant a lot too. This probably had more finishes, or more quick finishes, the whole main card was finishes, but on 290, or even the fights on the main card that went to decision, they were all incredibly fun. So I would lean towards 290, but I'm open to suggesting. You guys let me know in the comments who you thought, or what you thought, was the best card of the year. But we move on. Alex Pereira. I want to talk about him. Let's talk about Powhatan, because this guy, in 7 UFC fights, has become a double champion. Or a 2-division champion, I should say. Double champion indicates he had him at the same time. But a 2-division champion in 7 UFC fights, that's incredible stuff. Let's just look through his career. So he came into the UFC I think 4-1, or something like that. Or 3-1, 4-1. Beats Andreas Michailidis by flying knee KO. Beats Bruno Silva by tough decision. KOs Sean Strickland in the first round. TKOs Israel Adesanya in the 5th to become champion. Loses to Adesanya by KO. Then goes up to light heavyweight. Beats a former champion in Jan Blachowicz. And now beats another former champion in Jiri Prochazka. This guy is speedrunning top 10 all-time status. There's an argument to say that he's there. I wouldn't have him there just yet, but people have Henry Cejudo in the top 10 all time. He won 2 belts. I guess it was simultaneous, and he defended each of them. He won the flyweight belt against DJ, defended against Dillashaw, went up to bantamweight, won it against Moraes, defended against Cruz, and dipped. And that's given him like top 10 all-time status in everyone else's eyes. So if Alex Pereira gets like a win over Jamal Hill, then I think you got to have him top 5, because that would make it 5 former champions in his 8 UFC appearances. He's already made history by becoming the quickest 2-division champion in UFC history. Obviously, in part, that did have something to do with he got fast-tracked to give Israel Adesanya a fight. But it's not like he got fast-tracked and lost. He got fast-tracked and then proved he was still there. Like, he's still that quality. So, incredible stuff from Alex Pereira. Great win. Tough for Yuri Prochazka as well. Like, he'll have to go back. He'll probably fight again. Yuri's a good guy, man. He's a stoic Chad. He knows what he's doing, but tough for Yuri, amazing for Alex. He's probably going to fight Jamal Hill next. Depending on how long Hill's going to take off, I wouldn't mind seeing Pereira fight again in the meantime against like a slightly less deserving guy. Like if Rakic beat Pavlovichs, I wouldn't hate it if they just gave it to Rakic just because out of a lack of challenges, but only if Jamal Hill can't fight in the meantime. Like, if Jamal Hill's coming back in July, then you've got to book Alex Pereira before then. So, that's my opinion on that, but incredible stuff from Alex Pereira. Let's talk about Tom Aspinall, the big UK heavyweight champion. He's done it. He's brought another championship back to the UK. Incredible stuff. Great win over Sergey Pavlovich. I didn't pick him to win. I thought, even though I knew he was better in terms of his technique, his grappling, his speed, I knew all of that. Everyone knew all of that. Like, you could tell. I just thought Sergey was going to catch him. But he didn't. So, regardless, incredible win from Tom Aspinall. He becomes an interim heavyweight champion in 1 minute and 9 seconds. Crazy stuff. But taking away my bias in terms of I wanted Sergey to win because of my pick, I wanted him to win because I do like Sergey, man. He's a good dude. But if you take away that bias, it was a sick finish, and Tom Aspinall is going to be a sick champion to have in the future because let's just be realistic about it. I don't see John Jones sticking around. I think he's going to fight Stipe, and I think he's going to get the hell out of there. So I think Tom Aspinall is going to end up getting promoted to the undisputed heavyweight champion after Jones beats Stipe in a fight that no one really cares about and then leaves. Like, that's just what's going to happen. But yeah, Tom Aspinall, I think he could honestly beat everyone at heavyweight. Like, guys are going to have to make some real improvements to their game. They're going to have to work the speed, or someone's going to have to somehow have like a really strong wrestling base and take this guy down. Like, it won't be Jailton Almeida won't be the guy, but in terms of a skill set, he's the guy that you apparently just can't stand with Aspinall. Like, Gane is the only guy that I would give a chance of surviving on the feet with, but even Aspinall I think is quicker than Gane, if I'm being completely honest. So, crazy stuff from Aspinall. He could be a long reigning heavyweight champion, but it's heavyweight. Like, you can get cracked and you can get put out. So that's why we never really see those long reigning champions at heavyweight. Like, the most defenses is like 3, I'm pretty sure. So I think that was Stipe. So I could see Tom Aspinall becoming the greatest heavyweight of all time, and then John Jones' win over Stipe doesn't age too well because that's going to get marketed as the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest of all time. But then in a few years' time, when Tom Aspinall is probably going to be considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, that's really going to diminish John Jones' win, which is already against a Stipe that is aging and not at his best. So I want to see Tom Aspinall fight John Jones. It's probably not going to happen. I imagine we're going to see Tom Aspinall maybe defend against Cyril Gane in a fight where Gane doesn't deserve a title shot, but still, he'll probably send that to Europe, probably put it in the UK, let's be honest. And yeah, would be pretty cool, but we'll see what happens there. Tom Aspinall, amazing win, incredible stuff. I was wrong, but yeah. I wanted to now talk about the two biggest highlights of the card, and the first one of that is Benoit Saint Denis. I think this guy, I want to talk about him. I think he's like a future top 5, future maybe title challenger even, in the next 3 years, I'll say. Like, I could see this guy fighting for a belt in 2026. I'm not going to say 2025. It could happen late 2025, maybe. It depends how quickly he can rise up the ranks, because if he doesn't lose, I could see it being 2025, but we know there's usually only 2 title fights per year. Islam vs. Charles apparently isn't happening anytime soon. Maybe they're going to do it for the fight night in Saudi Arabia instead, and just not care about money and pay-per-view sales and put that on a fight night. and just keep giving Islam home ground advantages, which is complete bullshit. Why isn't he fighting in America? Like, seriously, come on. But if that fight doesn't happen there, it might end up only happening in summer in the US, obviously. That's winter here in Australia, but summer in the US, Islam then I guess will fight in Abu Dhabi, but guys are fighting twice a year. The champions are fighting twice a year, so if he continues to do that, I'm not saying Benoit's going to end up fighting Islam, because I think Islam's going to either lose or leave before then. Most likely leave. I think he's more likely to go up to the not heavyweight, what am I talking about? Go up to the welterweight division and probably try and fight the champion there. After, I'd say, if he beats Charles, he might just go up. Like, I don't know, it wouldn't be good to see, because I feel like that weight cut's getting tough for him. But I still think, regardless of who's champ, I think we could see Benoit, if he doesn't lose, fight for a title in like 2025, 2026. Because I think he's pretty active. I can see this guy fighting 3 times a year. So I see him fighting in like March 2024, maybe in like a fight night in Europe. I wouldn't mind like a Jalen Turner, a Gamrot, something like that. Gamrot would be a bigger jump up. If he beat Gamrot, he would be ranked like number 6, so that would be pretty crazy. But I could see him beating Gamrot or Jalen Turner, and then I see him coming back maybe International Fight Week. I think that would be one to do. And then you maybe do like a Beneil Dariush or something like that. Or something, yeah, along those lines. And then maybe if he wins that, you send him back to MSG or something at the end of the year, and maybe do like Fiziev or something by the end of the year. Like, but even then, if you beat Beneil, then he would be above Fiziev. So, regardless, I don't know how his career is going to go, but I'm really excited for him. That win over Matt Frevola was incredible. Like, if you look at his last 3 fights, this guy came in as a massive underdog against Ishmael Bonfim, who was seen to be one of the biggest problems in the prospects of the lightweight division. Smoked him in a round. Goes out there in Paris and fights Thiago Moises, just breaks him, like just TKOs him and just makes him look stupid and just gives him nothing in the fight. And then he goes out there against Matt Frevola, a dangerous power puncher, and just flatlines him in a minute 30. Like, I think this guy's got star potential. Dana White said it himself. I think he should be above number 14 in the rankings. The rankings are going to come out later today, so I don't know what he's going to be, but you guys will probably know by the time you're watching this. I would hope he would be like number 12 maybe. Dana even said number 10, I wouldn't hate that. But Dana also said that he wouldn't mind seeing Benoit Saint Denis main event a fight night in Paris. Like, that's something that they can do there, because this guy's a star now, I think. In at least the European market, he's a star. And I think he's like 2 fights away from being like an America main event, like a fight night, big fight night in America main event. So, or like the feature fight, co-main event of a pay-per-view or something like that, if it's not a title fight. Like, I think that's the situation we're going to see this guy in. But the other guy I wanted to talk about was Diego Lopes. That's the other star of the show here, apart from the 2 guys that won titles. Diego Lopes, I think he's a future star of the featherweight division. I think he's already got star potential. I think, yes or no, let me know in the comments, Diego Lopes is one of the top 5, for the hardcore fans, like, top 5 biggest stars in the featherweight division. Like, top 5 most exciting, most, like, buzz around these guys in the featherweight division. I think it's Volk and Holloway are, like, 1 and 2. And then I think maybe like a Yair or an Ilia Topuria, and then, like, a Yair. And then I think it's, like, Diego Lopes, because this guy, he gets such a massive pop. Like, he came in, it's really like the perfect setup for your career. Like, he came in on short notice, lost to Movsar Evloev, but gave him a hell of a fight, gained all the fans' kind of love and appreciation for that performance. And now he goes out there, subs Gavin Tucker in a minute 30 with a flying triangle, and then TKO's Pat Sabatini in a minute 30 with just vicious punches. Like, he's putting on the performances. He's got three bonuses in 3 fights. More than Colby Covington has in his entire career, lol. But yeah, Benoit Saint Denis, Diego Lopes, 2 future stars, 2 future, I think, both title challengers, and I think 2 guys that by this time next year are going to be in the top 10s of their divisions, respectively. But we move on to the card last week. Before this, we got to rewind it a little bit. It's Jailton Almeida against Derek Lewis, Sao Paulo card. I just wanted to briefly talk about Jailton Almeida and kind of what his performance is going to mean for the landscape of the heavyweight division. Because this guy, right, he came into that fight seen as this kind of unbeatable grappling wrecking machine. He was going to fight Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades pulled out, fights Derek Lewis. Everyone's like, he's going to run over him, sub him in a minute. Something like that. Like, that's what I thought. That's what everyone thought. Goes out there and just lays on Derek Lewis for 25 minutes. Puts the fans, most of them, to sleep. Not an entertaining performance. Yeah, he dominated Derek Lewis. Like, Derek Lewis is not a hard guy to take down. So, if he dominated Derek Lewis on the feet and just schooled him on the feet, I'd be a bit more impressed. But he just took him down and lay on him. Like, I knew he could do that. I wanted to see him finish him. That's what we all wanted to see. So, Jailton Almeida, he's kind of dug himself a bit of a hole here, because if he'd won this in dominant fashion, he's looking at like a Cyril Gane fight. He's looking at like a loser of Aspinall Pavlovichs or something. Like, he would be looking at a Sergey Pavlovich right now if he had just ran over Derek Lewis in a minute. But instead, he takes him out to 25 minutes, and now the UFC is like, we don't want to push this guy right now. Like, we've just got a new, exciting, like, UK champion Tom Aspinall. We've got a big scary Russian that just lost, but he's going to be back. We've got a flashy French striker. We've got John Jones. We've got Stipe. And then what? Jailton Almeida. Like, they don't want him at the top of the division right now. Like, I think they're going to probably make him fight like a Volkov, maybe fight like a Spivak. Like, I think his next fight is not going to be in the top 5. They could do it, and they could just give him Gane, but I doubt it, because I think Dana now knows, he's like, we see something with Aspinall, we got to make him fight again. We can't have him wait out until Jones inevitably just retires, and then we've just wasted the last 8 months. So, I think they're going to pump the brakes on Jailton Almeida. He's just going to fight a couple times, he's going to win a couple times, but I just don't see him being a guy that they really get behind. Look, if he works his striking, and if he can take down and lay on everyone, I mean, he's going to win, but it's not going to be fun. But I just don't see, like, he struggled at times with the size and the strength of Derek Lewis. Like, he's not a true heavyweight. This guy's like 230. So, either cut to light heavyweight, mate, or just start to kind of throw some fucking ground and pound, because that was a dead performance, and it kind of killed the vibe. So, unlucky for Jailton Almeida, he's going to be stuck. He might fight Blades. Blades or Volkov, I think's next for Jailton Almeida. Maybe Spivak if they want to test the grappling at a lower level. But yeah, I think it's disappointing for Almeida. I think the heavyweight division is going to go full steam ahead at the top, and I don't think he's going to be a part of that for at least 6 months. I don't think we're seeing him fight a top 5 guy for a hot minute. Maybe if he runs over Curtis Blades, they go, okay, cool. If that's a one-off, and then he goes out there and finishes his next opponent by sub in the first round, then it's different. But if this is now his style, and this is what he's going to do, if Jairzinho Rosenstrike was the limit of guy that you could finish, then we're not going to have a fun time promoting you. So, yeah, Jailton Almeida, tough for him. But let's just talk about the rest of the Sao Paulo card briefly. Obviously, Almeida, disappointing win. Nicholas Dalby fraud-checked Gabriel Bonfim and TKO'd him in the second round. Crazy stuff. We had Caio Borralho beat Alice Magomedov and then waste a call-out by saying Dricus du Plessis was scared of him. Like, that was just stupid. Rodrigo Nascimento beat Dante Almeida in the heavyweight rematch of the century. We had Elvis Brenner put on one of the performances of the night and get a KO, amazing KO against Kainan Khrushchevsky. He's competing with Diego Lopes for the breakthrough fighter of the year, or not the breakthrough, like the rookie of the year, the debuting fighter of the year, because he fought in February against Zubair Tukhugov, big underdog, won that. Fought against Guram, massive underdog, TKO'd him in a fight fight of the night, fight of the year candidate. And then just goes out there and KOs Kainan Khrushchevsky. So his opponents are not as good as Diego's, but he's putting on some pretty electric performances. So right now my vote's Diego Lopes for Rookie of the Year, but Elvis Brenner's a pretty close second, so fair play to him. What else do we have on the card? Renat Fokretinov also got kind of fraud-checked by Alesi Deleski dos Santos. They had a draw. Angela Hill just did what she does against like a younger, less experienced fighter and beat Denise Gomez. What else did we have? We had Vitor Petrino smoke Modestas Bukauskas in the first round. Very impressive from him. A few other fights. Eduardo Mora physically bullied Montserrat Ruiz. Mark Jacasey got a boring win. I think I might be missing one other one, but who gives a fuck? So yeah, that's Sao Paulo, guys. Just thought I'd go over that pretty briefly. But now, heavyweight division. Let's talk about how the heavyweight division is going to play out. So, let me just get my heavyweight rankings up here really quickly. I apologize for the wait. I wasn't preparing. Not prepared enough. UFC heavyweight rankings. Let's go. Because I want to talk about, let's matchmake heavyweight. let's figure this out and figure out what the landscape of the heavyweight division is going to look like in the next couple months. So, right now, John Jones is the champion. He's going to be fighting Stipe next, probably mid next year, international fight week kind of time frame is what I'm guessing. No one wants to see it, but regardless, that's champ versus number 3. So, Tom Aspinall, who was ranked number 4, is now the interim champion, so he'll get elevated to technically number 1. Gane and Pavlovichs go down, so now Gane will be number 2, Pavlovichs will be number 3. Stipe will actually go down to number 4, unless the rankings somehow rise Stipe through above Pavlovichs, which would be dumb. So, Gane versus Pavlovichs is a fight that you can do. Like, that is technically a fight that you could do. I don't love it, just because I'd rather see Gane get back in there. He took no damage against Spivak. He should be trying to fight again. But let's look at it. So, I'll redo the heavyweight division. Jones, Gane, Pavlovichs, Stipe, Aspinall, Blades, Volkov, Almeida, Spivak, Tuivasa, Tabora, Lewis, Rosenstrike, Romanov, Deliva, and Nascimento. So, let's matchmake the top of this division. I say you do number 7, Jailton Almeida versus number 5, Curtis Blades. I think that's what you do. I say that's okay. I say you do number 1, Cyril Gane, or now number 2 because of Aspinall. I think you might just have to do the Aspinall fight if they are going to turn Aspinall around, because I know Stipe's not going to accept that fight. That would be dumb. Then you guarantee that Aspinall smokes Stipe and then Jones has to fight Aspinall, which you wouldn't want to do. I guarantee Jones is telling them, you better not make Stipe fight anyone else, because he's the only guy I'm fighting. So I say you just by default you have to do Gane versus Aspinall. I know it's not fair. I know Gane doesn't deserve it, but you kind of have to if you want Aspinall to fight. If everyone's okay with Aspinall sitting out for a year, then by all means, he can sit out for a year. Cyril Gane can fight Jailton Almeida or something, or Curtis Blades. Like, that's what you could do there. But I say you do Jones versus Stipe. I don't want it, but regardless, Jones versus Stipe, Gane versus Aspinall for the interim title defense, I guess. Pavlovichs versus Alexander Volkov. That's number 3 versus number 6. That's definitely acceptable. I think they might be training partners, but you might just have to make that fight. Blades is now gonna go up. No, he won't go up. Blades number 5 versus Almeida number 7. Spivak number 8 versus, I say you could do like March and Tabora. Have they fought? I don't know. They're fat heavyweights. They've probably fought, but I wouldn't mind Spivak versus Tabora. Maybe Spivak versus like Romanov. Maybe Spivak versus Tuivasa rematch. But no. So I say you do Spivak versus Tabora. I say you do Derek Lewis versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike. I say you let Tai Tuivasa have some time off, and then he can come back and fight the winner, whether it's Lewis in a rematch or Rosenstrike, which would be a great fight. I say you do Romanov versus, and then the last 3 who gives a fuck about. So yeah, that's how you matchmake the heavyweight division. I didn't make that overly clear, but fuck it, who cares? Let's just finally talk about some fight announcements, because we've had some big ones over the last couple of days. I didn't end up I was going to make a video, but my computer was being dodgy and I couldn't record the sound, so that took like a day to fix, so couldn't record a video for that, and I was like, who cares, I'm not going to make a video the day after, that would be dead. So, let's just talk about the fight announcements really quickly. Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, UFC 297, Toronto, Canada. Amazing fight, looking forward to it a lot. Middleweight championship, winner gets the N-word pass, that's also in the contract. But I think Sean Strickland can win this fight, man. Like, it's close with Dricus because of his power, because of his explosiveness, because of his physical strength. But I can see him gassing out in the second and third, and I can see Strickland just being okay with getting tossed around a little bit and being like, I've heard, like, there's stories in the gym. Sean Strickland is still a legit grappler. He got taken down by Abbas, but he kind of gets taken down and just was like, whatever, just gets back up. Like, his jiu-jitsu pretty solid. Definitely Dricus would win in the first, 2 rounds, but I think Sean starts to stuff the takedowns later on, and I think he puts that pepper on him now, and he'll just maybe TKO or maybe decision. He just runs away with it in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, gets like a 48-47 decision. That's what I could see happening there. But amazing fight. Volkanovski versus Topuria in February. This one is risky, man. Look, I want to say Volk's going to win because logically, out of everything we've seen, he should win. Like, he's a better fighter than Ilia Topuria. Topuria's got good boxing, but he's open to leg kicks. and I think he got taken down by Bryce Mitchell. So, but he's up and coming. He's young, man. This is the type of guy that always beats the champion. It's the younger guy that's been coming up that was unranked by the time while the champion was like in their division as champion. Like, it's always the guy that's like coming up. Champion has no idea they exist, but they have a very good idea of what they're doing with the champion, and they're always just preparing to eventually fight them down the road. That's always the guy that beats or gives the champion the toughest fight. And now coming off a bad KO loss against Islam, 35 years old, I could see this being bad for Volkanovski, man. I'm going to pick him to win. I'm going to pick him to just be better all around with like the leg kicks and stuff. I think he's going to mix in some grappling pretty effectively. I don't think he's going to want to stand with Topuria for too long. But this is the one where Volk could lose it, man. This is where that slide could really start. Because a loss to Islam is not the beginning of a career slide, but if you follow that up with a loss down a weight class in your own division, it could be a tough one for Volk. But O'Malley versus Cheeto, I got O'Malley. I've got him by boring Adesanya-like decision, to be honest. I think that's what's going to end up happening here. I do think it's not going to be like super boring, but I think he's going to quickly realise he can't finish Cheeto. Cheeto eats shots for breakfast. His chin is overpowered. And I think he's going to get annoyed about it, and he's not going to want to exchange in the pocket with Cheeto. So I think he's going to keep his range, and I think he's just going to run circles around him and just throw out leg kicks and jabs a lot. So I don't anticipate it being a super amazing fight, but I think O'Malley's going to win. Extremely undeserved title shot, though, by the way, for Cheeto Vera. A couple other fight announcements. Blachowicz vs. Rakic for January. On that pay-per-view card, I do think that Blachowicz is going to win, man. Look, Rakic coming back with the injury. Not going to be the same, I don't think, straight away. And I think Blachowicz can... You never know, though. Like, I'd like to see Rakic win just because it would provide a new face that hasn't fought for the belt yet and stuff like that. Because let's be honest, Blachowicz, we don't really care to see him fight for the belt again. But still, regardless, I think it's going to be a close one. But yeah, Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez. I'm taking Song Yadong to absolutely murk him. I think that's like, it's a fight night that's just been tossed together just for the sake of it because they needed a China card. I don't know why they didn't do Yan Zhanan versus Zhang Weili. That was dumb. Regardless, Song I think is going to smoke him. What else we got? Olberg versus Reyes. That's just depressing. Why the fuck did they book that fight? Olberg's going to kill him. Anything else really notable? I don't think so. Let me just check Big Marcel. Apparently Aljamain Sterling said he was offered Kelvin Kattar, which is interesting. So that could be happening. I would pick Kelvin Kattar to win that, you know. But what else do we got here? Jourdain versus Sean Woodson. I'll take Jourdain. Cap versus Nicolau rematch. I'll take Manel Cap in the rematch this time, I do think. Anything else? Nothing super notable. So yeah, those are some fight announcements. Those are the other ones before that. But yeah, now let's move on to the questions. I've got the public questions here. I've got 20 of them. So we're going to go for a little bit here and answer these. So the first question. Aspinall said he would probably fight Pavlovichs again in the future and that Pav will continue to knock people out. Do you agree? How do you rate Pavlovichs' chances against the likes of Gane and Almeida? I think, honestly, you guys let me know what you think. I think this performance is less about, like, damn, Pavlovichs sucks, and is more about, like, damn, Aspinall is really good. I think that's what we've taken out of this. Pavlovichs is still going to be a problem to, like, pretty much everyone else because there's not a lot of guys that are doing it like Tom Aspinall. So I do think he can still knock a lot of people out. I do think this is going to slightly decrease his, like, aura of just invincibility and just this scary big Russian that just knocks you out. Like, I think people are going to see that and be like, hang on, I could just, let me try and, like, land the shots. Like, if Aspinall can put him away, then I could have a good shot. But I think Gane would be tough because of the speed. Gane doesn't hit as hard as Aspinall, and he doesn't have the wrestling. So I wouldn't mind seeing Pavlovichs mix in some takedowns there, but it's tough. Right now, I would lean towards Gane, but I would really want Pavlovichs to win that. And I think he could get it done, because Gane does get caught. Gane gets a little bit too comfortable sometimes. Like, he got dropped by Tuivasa, so I could see Pavlovichs catching him, but it's close. And then Almeida, it just depends whether Almeida can take him down, because I don't know how good Pavlovich's takedown defense is. That's the one thing we didn't see in this fight that we were going to see. Like, I anticipated Sergey winning this because Aspinall would be shitting himself on the feet, not want to exchange with him, shoot a panic takedown, and then eventually get cracked. I didn't anticipate Aspinall just being completely fluid and calm and just putting him away. That's not what I anticipated. So, we didn't get to see his takedown defense tested, but I do think he would beat Almeida. I think he's just way too big and too strong, you know. We move on, though, to the next question. With all the dominant champions recently being finished, like Usman, Izzy, Sterling, and Volk, will we ever see champions like as dominant as GSP, Silva, and Jones? Also, who will eventually chin Islam, Whaley, and Volk at 145? Yeah, so will we ever see a GSP, Silva, or Jones? I don't think we're going to see that number of defenses. Look, I do think Tom Aspinall could be a guy to maybe get like 5 or 6 together, obviously. If Volk beats Topuria, I could see him ending up with like 8, because that would be his 6th if he beat Topuria. And then I think he would probably fight the winner of Allen versus Evloev, and I think he would beat them comfortably. And then I think he might fight like Aljamain Sterling or something if he beat Kelvin Kattar, maybe. They could just rush him into a title shot. So I could see him winning that, because now Volk's stuck at 45. He can't go up to lightweight. So they're going to have to get some contender fights together. I think they might be rebooking Yair versus Ortega, doing a rematch there, because apparently Aljo said on his YouTube channel that he was offered a fight against Kattar because that was the highest ranked guy that didn't have a fight booked, or that wasn't friends with him or something. So maybe they're rebooking that, but Yair versus Ortega, in which case Yair would smoke him, but regardless. So who would chin Islam? I think the guy to chin Islam would be either up at welterweight, or it could honestly just be Oliveira in a rematch. Like, Oliveira in the rematch has the capability to do it. Guys like, I don't see Fiziev, like, I don't know, it's tough. Fiziev, maybe Benoit Saint Denis eventually down the road, if Islam sticks around. But I ultimately see the more likely path of Islam getting chinned is going to be, he goes up to 170 at one point, maybe wins the title, and then, like, fights like a shove cut, or fights like one of those guys with just that power, and he loses. For Chin Wei Li, I don't think anyone's going to chin Wei Li. I don't think anyone beats her on the feet. She's already pretty much beat all the power punches in her division, because I think she beats Yan Zhenan comfortably, and I think she beats I think she beats Tatiana Suarez as well. I think she keeps it on the feet and pieces her up. And then who would chin Volk at 145? Well, it's Topuria or no one. I do believe that, honestly. Next question. With this loss to Alex, where do you see Jiri fighting next, and who makes sense for Alex's first title defense? So, Jiri Prochazka, I think next he should fight the winner of Blachowicz-Rakic, or the loser regardless, one of them two, because he hasn't fought either. Depends on if they need one of them two to turn around and fight for the title, or if they're just going to do Jamal Hill immediately. Seems like they're going to wait for Jamal Hill, but I say Jiri versus the winner of... So I see, because Walker vs Ankalaev, I forgot to mention that in the fight announcements before. Walker vs Ankalaev's happening January 13th main event. Winner of that, I think, gets a title shot, unless it's Ankalaev, because fuck him, I don't like him. So if Ankalaev wins, and then Rakic wins, I think you do Rakic versus Jiri, and then the winner of that gets a title shot. And then it's tough. I don't know. If Walker wins, you could just run Walker versus Alex for the title and do it in Brazil, because that would be so easy to do. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And Alex, first title defense, I think it's Jamal Hill, honestly. Next question. Seeing how Alex seeing how Alex called out Izzy, and how Dana said it would be fine giving him the title shot as long as Izzy won at light heavyweight first, who do you think Izzy could beat at light heavyweight? So, I've got my light heavyweight top 10 here, or top 15, sorry. So Izzy, I think he beats Jacoby, he beats Menefield, beats Reyes. I think he loses to Mirzakhanov, maybe. I might be overrating Mirzakhanov. I think he could lose to that with the physical size and the pressure. I think he beats Khalil, beats Spann, beats Ozdemir, beats Smith. I could see him losing to Walker, just because of the size and how big he is. I think he beats Smith. Oh, I said that before. Maybe loses to Krylov, loses to Rakic, loses to Yan, loses to Ankalaev. I think he could beat Jiri, but maybe not. And then I think he loses to Periera in a rematch. Yeah, so I think that's it. I don't think Izzy beats a lot of the top 5 at light heavyweight. I think Jiri honestly might be his best chance. Or maybe like Jamal Hill if he doesn't fight for the belt. But yeah, I don't mind that. Next question. In my opinion, the heavyweight division is becoming the most exciting it's been in a while, with fighters like Jones, Pavlovichs, Aspinall, Gane, Almeida. How would you see Ngannou doing against the top of the heavyweight division? So, heavyweight division and Ngannou, I think... I think he loses to Jones. I think he gets wrestled. I think he loses to Aspinall, gets chinned on the feet like Pavlovichs with the speed. I think he probably does catch Pavlovichs. I think Gane beats him in a rematch. I believe Gane beats him in a rematch. I think he beats Stipe, beats Blades, beats all those other guys, honestly. Maybe he wouldn't beat it. He wouldn't lose to Almeida, he's too strong. I think Ngannou loses to a couple guys because he hasn't been MMA training in a while. How do you see Alex Pereira's future in the light heavyweight division? Okay, so Alex Pereira, it all just depends on, it really just depends on how long he stays in his prime. Like, if he just starts getting way slower, because Jamal Hill is going to be so quick against him, I think Jamal Hill is going to have a big speed advantage. I think the leg kicks are going to be enough to get it done for Pereira. So I think he gets a first title defense at light heavyweight, and then after that, would he beat the winner of Blachowicz versus Rakic? I think so. I think he chews up Rakic's legs badly, and I think he beats Blachowicz easier than he did the first time. I think he beats Jiri in a rematch. I think he beats Jamal Hill. I think he beats Johnny Walker. I think Uncle Live's I think as soon as he fights Uncle Live, as much as I hate him, Uncle Live, he probably loses that. But I think the UFC is going to keep Uncle Live away from the title for a hot minute, because they're like, we actually have exciting fights now, so let's not give Uncle Live a title shot. Next question. Do you think people overrate Colby Covington? His most impressive thing to date is that he's lost 2 fights to Usman, and he hasn't beat anyone in their prime in a long time. The betting line for him versus Leon is practically evens at the moment, which is a bit surprising to me, considering Leon just beat Usman twice. Would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so it's hard to tell, because Colby, man, like, obviously the 2 fights with Usman, very close, but Leon just schooled Usman in the trilogy 49-46. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, he got smoked by Usman in the first, 3 rounds, or first 2 rounds. He was getting dropped all over the place by jabs. And then he came back in the later rounds with the cardio. So I do think his cardio is going to help him in this Leon Edwards fight. I don't see him getting finished, but I see Leon just cooking him for the first 3, and then maybe he wins the last 2. So I'm not saying he's, overrated, but I don't think the line should be, a pick'em. I do see Leon winning that fight. We've got the card. Whoa, what the hell? We've got a bunch of things here. This guy must love the Dagestanis. Fantasy matchups all in their prime. Okay, so I'll run through this quickly. I'm not going to break them down, sorry. They're there's 20 here. So Khabib versus Islam. Islam beats him on the feet. Khabib versus Oliveira. I think Khabib probably takes him down and maybe gets a ground and pound stoppage. Oliveira could win with a ghillie though. Khabib versus Volk at 55. I think Khabib would just be a bit more physically strong than Islam to hold Volk down. Khabib vs Tony, Khabib wins. Khabib vs Alvarez, Khabib vs Benson, Pettis, Dustin, Gaethje. Khabib vs Pettis and Benson and Alvarez, yeah, he beats all of them. And then Islam vs Dustin, Gaethje, I think he beats both. Oliveira vs Volk at 55, I think Oliveira catches him. He's too good with the striking. I think I don't think Volk can just pick him apart. I think Oliveira would catch him at some point with a high kick. Khabib vs Kevin Lee. If it's a 1-round fight, then Kevin Lee wins. Islam vs Kevin Lee. Why are you asking these questions? Islam obviously beats Kevin Lee. Are you dumb? Islam vs Pettis, Alvarez, Henderson, Tony. Yeah, he beats all of them. I don't know. These old lightweight guys, old lightweight legends in their primes, just aren't gonna beat. They're not gonna beat Khabib and Islam. I'm sorry. Next question here. We got a whole fucking essay. Okay. I wanted to... What's he saying? Alright. I want to know your thoughts on who makes sense and then who is the most fun matchup to see with Benoit Saint Denis. Love to see him with the loser of Hooker vs Green. He showed a lot in his debut at 170. He's got a chin on him. I agree. Dude's been impressive from the start. The head kick on Frivola was crazy. I was as surprised as Matt was, yeah. You feel there was some sketchy gambling related to this is a new question. You still feel like there was some sketchy gambling related to the fuckery going on that Yamasaki, our UAE ref. Oh my god. Yeah, that guy. An eternity ego, an unrelated question. But it still comes to mind when I think of my new favourite French Special Force vet. Okay, this is a whole fucking... I'm just assuming your question is, who do you want to see for Benoit Saint Denis? And your statement is, he's a very good fighter, which I agree with. And then you're asking about that dumbass ref in the UAE that stopped Johnny Walker vs Uncle Live. Yeah, okay. So, Benoit Saint Denis, I think for him next, I said it a bit before, but I think there's 4 fights that you can do next. I think you fight Jalen Turner, you fight the loser of Hooker vs. Green, you fight the loser of Beneil vs. Arman, or you fight Mateus Gamrot. I think it's one of those 4, and I wouldn't mind any of them. They're all great. But next question. If Alex Pereira defeated Jamal Hill, he would have beaten only former champions and current champions in his last 5 wins. Where do you think that ranks him amongst the all-time greats? Would that be the best run in MMA history? It could very well be. Yeah, so right now he's got 4 wins over former champions. And if he beats Jamal Hill, it's 5, so that would be pretty crazy. I think that a win over Jamal Hill and a defense of a second belt would definitely put him top 10 all time. Right now, I think he's sitting just around like 11, I think. Like, if I'm going through it right now, I would say it's Jones, GSP, DJ, Silva, Aldo, Khabib, Volk, DC, Stipe, Usman, Adesanya, Cejudo, maybe Pereira. I think Pereira's wins are better than Cejudo's though, so I think Pereira might be above Cejudo almost. But Cejudo's win over DJ probably just kind of edges him above him. But yeah, if you beat Jamal Hill with the defense of a second title, I definitely think you got to put him top 9 all time. Next question. Who should Gane fight next, and why is it Jailton Almeida? Yeah, I mean, if you want Gane to lose, then yeah, Jailton Almeida's the fight that people want to see. Gane next, it really depends. If they want Aspinall to defend the interim title in Europe, which is going to happen, like, they're not going to put him as like a headliner of like a pay-per-view in America. I think if it's just one title fight on the card, I think they're more likely to do an Almeida an Aspinall versus Gane fight night, not pay-per-view, because I think they usually do the UK in March and in July. So if they do it in March, then that would be after UFC 299, so that wouldn't be UFC 300, so it would have to be a fight night. So I think maybe if they just do Aspinall vs. Gane fight night main event, even though it would be for a title, that would be crazy. Like, they'd be giving up pay-per-view buys for that, but still, I could see that could be next for Gane. But if they don't like Gane now, and if they want him to fight way down, they could do like Curtis Blades, they could do Jailton Almeida, they could do Pavlovichs maybe. Any of those fights work. I'll tell you what, Gane versus Pavlovichs, and then like Benoit Saint Denis versus versus Mateusz Gamrot in a co-main event. That's like a France card there, and then like Manan Fiorot, and then you do Manan Fiorot versus someone on the card, and then you can do Manan Fiorot versus Aaron Blanchfield on the card, and then you do what else could you do? Who's French? I'm trying to think. There was another Nasruddin Mavov versus Roman Dolidze on the card. That's what you could do there. That would be pretty cool. Who should Gane fight next? Oh, I'm retarded. I just read the question. Yeah, good question. What are the chances that Khamzat never becomes a champion? Interesting question. So Khamzat, right? With him, it's odd because the way he's going, I don't know if he actually does. Like, it would have to be a favourable stylistic matchup for him to win, because I don't think he subs these top middleweights in the first round like he's been doing. Like, he didn't do it against Usman, who's a welterweight. Not saying that's like bad that he couldn't sub Usman. Obviously, that would be crazy if he did. But I think we're now seeing he's got a cardio problem, and he's not exactly like showing to be that good on the feet outside of the first round. He's got great grappling, and then in the second and third, he loses that danger factor. So I don't know if he does. I think right now it's 50-50, because like every single fight that he has, he could just take them down and sub him. Like, he has a path to victory in the first 5 minutes, but I honestly think in a title fight, which it obviously would be, I think if it gets out the first, I just don't know if he wins. I think these other guys are going to be bigger and more prepared than Kamaru Usman to stuff takedowns. So, I don't know. Khamzat might not become a champion. We might not get that like mythical Chimaev like prospect that we all were expecting a while ago. So, next question. Top 5 best fighters from just skill alone, regardless of weight class. This guy's saying Jones is his number 1 pick. So, the most well-rounded fighters. I won't do 5. Instead, I'll do the most well-rounded in every division. So, number 1, I'm going to go with Moreno. He's probably more well-rounded than Pantoja at flyweight, I would say. Bantamweight, I think it's Corey Sandhagen's the most well-rounded. Featherweight, it's Volk. Lightweight, it's Islam. Welterweight, I think it could be Shavkat, you know. I think Shavkat might be more well-rounded than Leon with the offensive wrestling. Middleweight, most well-rounded, I think it is Whittaker. Even though he lost to Dricus, I think it is Whittaker. I think he's just a bit... Like, it could be Dricus too, but I think it's Whittaker. Light heavyweight, most well-rounded fighter. Probably Jan Blachowicz, I would say. Maybe Jan Kalaev, actually. And then heavyweight would be Jones and Aspinall. I think, honestly, a tie right now. Jones... I can't say Jones at heavyweight because he's fought once and he took him down and subbed him in 2 minutes. Aspinall's actually showed well-roundedness at heavyweight. We've never seen Jones strike it at heavyweight. So I'll go with Aspinall, actually. Who has a brighter future, Diego Lopes or Paddy Pimblett? What? I hope you're not serious. I don't think... There's no way you're being genuine in saying that Paddy Pimblett has a future. The guy sucks. Diego Lopes is actually good. So yes, Diego Lopes has a brighter future than Paddy Pimblett because he's actually a talented fighter. Paddy Pimblett swings with his chin up in the air like Mackenzie Dern. Dumb question, but okay, cool. Diego Lopes, great fighter, love him. Next question, pick one. John Jones versus Ngannou or GSP versus Khabib? It's a tough one. Jones versus Ngannou is the logical choice. I think everyone wants to see that. But I want to see Khabib lose, man. I want to see, because I think Prime GSP beats Khabib, so I want to see him lose. But regardless, I think Jones and Ngannou is the more exciting, bigger fight. Fantasy matchups: Prime Aldo versus Topuria. Aldo chews his leg up and just kills him with the leg kicks. Chimaev versus Bo Nickel. I'll go with Chimaev right now because Bo Nickel's unproven, but I never know. And then Poirier versus Fiziev. Right now, Poirier doesn't kick legs. So, the Fiziev that fought Gaethje, I actually think beats Poirier. Now, I think Poirier is not as dedicated or not as focused on his career anymore. He's talking about he only wants money fights and stuff. That's not the attitude I want to see if I'm thinking you're going to be a top contender anymore. Next question. We had an era of dominant wrestling champions like DC, Jones, Woodley, Usman, and Khabib. Now we have striking heavy champions like O'Malley, Volk, Leon, Strickland, Alex, Aspinall. Aspinall's kind of like a grappler, but what do you think has happened? So, I think it's a mix. I think it's certain fighters are just winning the belts off certain guys that aren't the wrestlers. Like, okay, I get it. Like, Aspinall won the belt against a striker. O'Malley won the belt against a jiu-jitsu guy with average wrestling. Volk won the belt against Holloway, a striker. Leon won the belt against Usman, a wrestler, so that's fair. And Strickland won against a striker, and Alex won against... So the strikers are winning the belts against strikers for the most part, so I kind of get what you mean. But I think overall, as a sport, if you're going to see more strikers beating the wrestlers, it's because, like, when you see people saying to Aljo, why didn't you just take O'Malley down? Like, it becomes easier to stuff takedowns. Like, obviously, in a D1 wrestling match, obviously... O'Malley would get smoked by Aljo, or Marab, or Cejudo, or any of these guys. But when you can move, when you can strike, when you can throw shit up the middle, it deters the takedowns. It makes it easier to stuff them against the cage sometimes as well. So I think that's what it is. I think it's harder to take guys down in the cage than in... I've done wall wrestling before myself. Like, we've done it a few times at the gym I go to. It's fucking hard to take people down, honestly. Like, it is really hard. But yeah, next question. How would Gaethje do against the top 15 of welterweight? So, got my welterweight top 15 here. Justin Gaethje. He smokes Renat, smokes Chiesa, smokes Magny, smokes Holland. I think he beats Della. Close though. I think he beats Gary. I think he catches him. I think he beats Brady, beats Luque. I think he beats Jeff Neal, but it's close. I think he loses to Wonderboy. I think he's just... I don't know though. I don't know how good Wonderboy is anymore. I think he could beat Wonderboy. That would be an amazing fight. I think he loses to Shavkat. I think he loses to Burns with the grappling. I think he loses to Colby just because of the cardio and the... Or not cardio, like just because of the size and the wrestling. I think he loses to Bilal, loses to Usman, and then I think he'd probably lose to Leon. Next question. Is BSD the new Charles Oliveira? They're both going to the... What? They both are going to the finish, both complete... This guy can't speak English. They both go for the finish. They're both complete fighters, and they both have no defense. I'm assuming that's what you mean. I mean, they have defense, but P.S. He began MMA only 6 years ago. Now he's top 15 in one of the most stacked divisions. Yeah, for sure. No, Benoit's not like, he's not the new Charles Oliveira. Like, they've got to, if I'm looking at a guy that's like, I see Charles Oliveira, I'm talking Diego Lopes. I think he's the guy that I see more Charles Oliveira. But BSD, he's a great fighter, incredible fighter. I think he's like the new, what would he be the new? I don't know, it's tough. He's like a pressure striker, so I get it, like, goes for the finish pressure, but different style, different stance, doesn't go for the jiu-jitsu as much, he's more wrestling offensive. So yeah, I kind of get what you mean, but yeah, Benoit's sick, I know, he's been training for like 6 years and he's already elite. Last question, Strickland versus the top 15 light heavyweight and Islam versus the top 15 at welterweight. Alrighty. Guys, Islam versus welterweight. Beats Renat, I think I've done this before. Beats Renat, beats Chiesa, beats Magny, beats Holland, beats Della, beats Gary, beats Brady, beats Luque, beats Neal, beats Wonderboy. Shovecut's close. I say beats him. Just. I think he could lose to Burns, but I think he beats him on the feet. If he takes Burns down, he could get in a bit of trouble, though. I think he beats Colby, beats Bilal, beats Usman, and beats Leon. I think Islam beats welterweight, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to tell, though, because you never know if they're just way bigger than him. And then, okay, Strickland versus top 15 at light heavyweight. Beats Jacoby, beats Manifields, beats Reyes, beats Mezakhanov, beats Khalil, beats Span, beats Ozdemir, beats Smith. Walker could be too big, but I think Strickland just finds his jab. But oh my god, that's a size difference. Like, Walker's 6'6", Strickland's like 6'1" or something. So Walker could win just by being way too big. Beats Krylov, in my opinion. Loses to Rakic, I think his weight. Rakic is huge. Loses to Yan, loses to Ankalaev. I think he beats Jiri, actually. He could beat Jiri, and then I think Jamal Hill's close. I think, you never know. Strickland could beat Jamal Hill, and then he loses to Periera, but I might be overrating Strickland, but after that fight against Izzy, I think he basically beats every striker, but Rakic is huge, Pavlovichs is too strong, I think, so I don't know, it'll be interesting there. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is the podcast done. We went pretty long there, like over 50 minutes, normally got a bit under that, but hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Leave a comment for the next one. Any questions you have, go follow my Instagram, LeftLane MMA. Go watch all my other videos. I've got the PowerPoint video that's doing really well. It's got like 3.5k views. We stormed past 200 subs recently as well. Like, I hit 100 subs last week and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And I've just stormed past 200. So, much appreciated to anyone subscribing to the channel. Love all of you. No homo. But yeah, really appreciate that. I've got a 100/200 subscriber, I guess now. Special video coming out, I think probably tomorrow, about ranking all the countries in the world on a certain aspect. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. You guys will see it tomorrow. So, love all of you. Thanks for watching the podcast. Hope you guys liked it. Enjoy, like, subscribe, comment, all that bullshit. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.